Okay, good evening and welcome to our monthly East Montgomery County Improvement District Board of Directors meeting. We always begin with a prayer and a pledge. So if you'll rise, I'm going to do something a little different tonight and ask you all to join me in saying the Lord's Prayer. And then I'll ask Director Pearson to lead us in the pledges. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Okay, the first item on our agenda is to consider comments from members of the audience. And Terry, do we have anybody to sign up? Okay, we'll move on to the next item, which is to consider and act upon approval. We're going to go ahead and make a presentation of the grant check to Mission Northeast for $49,010.50. If y'all meet us over here.
Let us know when to stop.
All right, Stephen, I'm having a little trouble seeing you.
You say when it all goosey.
Okay, I think maybe this will work. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you. We're good. Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Also, we appreciate you guys.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is to consider and act upon approval of the minutes of the Board of Directors meeting held on June 24, 2015. Okay, we have a motion by Director Ibarra, a second by Director, which one, Martin, is it? Okay, it's Director Zepeda. And is there any discussion? All in favor? Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, so we have 7 in favor and 1 abstention. Thank you. The next item is to consider financial, bookkeeping, cash flow, and investment reports and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith, including authorizing the payment of invoices presented or shown in such reports. Good evening, Ms. Kay.
Good evening. I believe each of you should have your supplementary financial report. There's not very much change from the original report. You do have in your operating account a different number. It's $7,291,336.85. If you'll turn over to page 4, I'm sorry, on page 5, we did have an interest deposit. And then on page 6 is your cash flow. You've got a balance forward from your last report of $128,988.20, receipts of $554 and $295.67, and that included the sales tax that came in. And you have disbursements of $384,694.22, leaving $298,589.65 in that account. The budget versus actual is just changed in order to cover the checks that you see on this cash flow, and everything else remained the same. If you have any questions on the first report or on this one, I'd be happy to answer your questions.
Okay. So we would need a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept all the financials and authorize payment of invoices.
Okay, so we have a motion by Director Martin and a second by Director Pearson. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor? It's unanimous, thank you. The next item is to consider approval of budget for fiscal year 2015 to 2016 and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith.
And those of you, we had a workshop this afternoon to kind of go over the different budget categories. If you want me to, I can go through and highlight some of those for you. And if you want to proceed, we can then go from that point forward. So I'll go through and I'll highlight some of the items for you in regards to what our projected revenue and projected expenses are for next year. I've handed, anyone need another copy other than what you had this afternoon? No. Okay. What we had and reviewed during our workshop for this year in regards to revenue projections. This year, for this fiscal year, we're going to end up with about $7.7 million in revenue. Next year, we're looking at projecting about $8.4 million in revenue from the sales tax. With other hotel tax and other interest on temporary investments and other interest income accounts, for the year, we're projecting, in addition with lease payments, we're projecting for the total fiscal year about $8,627,000 in revenue for next year. In looking at expenses moving forward, some of the areas that we talked about and discussed was $600,000 in salaries, another $65,000, $55,000, $25,000 in recruiting efforts and travel and training, in recruiting businesses to move to the area. From that, looking down, some other significant changes you may notice is in regards to our printing and postage for the year. With our continual quarterly newsletter that's going out, we increased our printing budget up to $75,000. In addition, the postage also has increased up to $30,000 to reach out and serve our community and getting that message out to our community. Looking a little further down, some other items to make you aware of. We have $125,000 in repairs and maintenance for the building, typically about what we budgeted for this year, and looking at repairs and maintenance to the facility. The maintenance and labor contract in regards to utilization of labor-ready individuals as opposed to full-time staff positions. Those are allocated at $80,000 each for the district for the upcoming year. Moving into community development, some larger items you might be aware of with our agreement with ESD number 6, Fire District. We're budgeting $898,000 for ESD 6. For ESD 7, we're budgeting $583,000. And for ESD 11, we're budgeting $350,000. Other community development initiatives and efforts from the district include special events of $300,000, which that will include a new event, including a fireworks display around the first of the year. So that will be our fourth special event, community festival that we're proposing to include for this year. So that will be the fourth event we have for the year. Other grants of $150,000 for community development grants. We have $50,000 allocated for the Community Safety Patrol, which is our initiative with the Constable's Office, and looking at expanding the number of days that patrol actually occurs. This year we spent around $40,000 for the last year, and this upcoming year we're looking at expending about $50,000 for that project. It's been a great success and a tremendous benefit to our community. Other projects related to community development, we have the two splash pad projects, looking that we've allocated $300,000 toward that. And for the two splash pad projects initially to go into the district, provide a benefit to our citizens. And then finally, the last area in community development is we've allocated $450,000 to our scholarship program for our local high school students to draw down $1,000 that they're eligible for on graduation. So overall, total community development allocation back into the community is $3,091,000. Moving down to economic development expenses, we're looking at economic development marketing at $200,000. Current year incentives due, that's a new account category. Those are incentives that we've worked agreements with local companies that have just recently opened up, and their commitment to hire local employees from our area. We have a sales tax rebate formula that's utilized for them. So those incentives are due. We're budgeting $200,000 in that category. And then finally, in our economic development revolving loan fund, we're allocating $450,000 into the East Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation for loans going out to businesses looking to expand and again employ more individuals from our area. Some other things to highlight for you: industrial park capital improvements. We have $150,000 allocated there, and that's for new signage at the industrial park with wayfinding signs located at the intersections of Gene Campbell Boulevard and 1314 and Gene Campbell Boulevard and 1485. And then going further down into the budget to highlight one final thing, we have an additional $511,000 that's allocated for additional land purchase at the industrial park. Even with the businesses coming and our industrial park continuing to grow, we need to expand that and continue to recruit more industrial projects to the area and create more employment opportunities for our local residents. So with that, that kind of hit on some highlights from our budget that we talked about this afternoon, and it's here for your approval this evening.
I'll add this. Originally, we talked about having another meeting, but we actually got a lot of stuff covered today, and really it comes down to it's the two directors that wouldn't be able to make it today if they're comfortable with it.
Would you like to make a motion to accept it?
I would, yeah, I don't have a problem with it at all. I like how it is. I just didn't want to, I didn't know if y'all needed some additional time, you directors or whatever. I didn't want to make a motion and not include y'all or whatever.
So then we have a motion by Director Hassan to accept it?
Yes.
To accept the budget, and a second by Director Pearson. Okay, is there any discussion?
I just want to add the new event that we've added will be something that's unique to our area, and I'm really excited about that. There's nothing around that's been done like that on New Year's. So I'm excited for the community to be able to get to participate and come out and enjoy a fireworks show on New Year's.
Martin, did you want?
I just wanted to bring up that the figures for those ESDs are not anything written in stone, right?
That is correct. The ESD projections, we have to, take an educated guess. And we met with our bookkeepers, municipal accounts, and we had to come up with a formula that we use. That's a formula calculation that is based on sales tax revenue projections within each ESD's district. So these are projected numbers. These are not exact numbers, but once again, it's through our consultants that you guys have. These are the projections that we feel we're comfortable with, and we should come pretty close to those numbers for the year.
Who's going to do the fireworks display?
We talked about, that was what we talked today at the workshop. That will be our fourth community festival event that we have for the year. So we're going through the process. Sandy will be managing it from the events perspective, and then we'll be looking at contracting with vendors to come in and provide that exhibit for the community.
Years ago, I did a fireworks display at Zolio Beach, and I had to have Lloyd's of London to come in and insure with the event, because I was out on the pier of the county.
Right.
So I was just wondering if you looked at that angle of it.
We have, and if you notice, we've increased the budget for the year to $300,000 to absorb those costs.
The
And
insurance part of it.
yeah, I mean, now have we got an insurance quote yet? No, we've not. But once again, we're looking at increasing our budget to accommodate a fourth event. And with that, we'll work into a budget to accommodate that event and make sure it's, something our community will be proud of.
This week, we also had several professional football players that blew up fingers and stuff, firecracker displays, or firecracker deals, and here's adults doing it, so that's why I was wondering about the liability part of it.
Well, I think mainly if we don't need to give Martin a match and we'll be okay.
Yeah.
So we don't let Martin push any buttons or have any, fire
We're
around.
talking about doing black cat and stuff.
Only, there's no, shoot one off the table.
Yes, ma'am. Did you? I just wanted to know, kind of a slight shift in our philosophy on the community grants. We're really looking at bigger projects that will have a broader impact in our community, such as the splash pads. So that is something new.
And then, once again, for our community to be aware, I mean, that's a very consistent message from our board, is looking at larger projects in our district that has a larger impact to the entire population, not particularly just one area or another. And, that's one of the first things that you guys indicated was very important, and to make sure that we're touching more individuals in the district through doing larger projects like those, and they're incorporated into the budget this year.
Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, just one other thing. And I know these numbers aren't actually stunning. I was just listening to this community development part go back and forth, and maybe I punched the numbers in wrong, but just something to be aware of. It looks like revenue's projected to go up about 20%, up to $8,400,000, and we're actually losing 2% in community development grants from 2014 to our projected 2016. Not a big deal, but we just need to make sure that we don't want to go backwards. I know we're doing some really cool projects, but when you look at those categorically, we want to try to keep that as close. We don't want to lose ground on that deal, especially with a 20% increase in budget. But I think this is fantastic. I appreciate the hard work, and I appreciate you going over with us.
Sure.
Today.
Any further discussion? Okay, everybody in favor of the motion? Unanimous, and budget is approved. Thank you. And we're going to go out of order for just a moment, and we are going to bring up item number 15. And that item is to review and consider approval of policies and procedures for issuing community service awards.
Something to speak on?
Yeah. Well, you want to make a motion to, first? We have to have a motion.
Yes, I'll make a motion. For those of you that may not know what we're doing, we're trying to include the people in our community that's made a difference, not necessarily politicians and making it political or whatever, just our normal people in the community that's went above and beyond to make our community a better place. So that's what this award will be, and I can make a motion that we accept this nomination form for Outstanding Citizen Award.
Okay, so we have a motion by Director Heston and a second by Director Carlisle. And is there a discussion on the matter?
Are you saying that we're going to exclude politicians? Yeah, I mean,
No.
probably, I probably should exclude politicians.
Probably a better way to phrase it is we don't want it to turn in where it's all politicians or people that's up for election at the current time, which happens with some different awards in different communities. You'll see that where they're pushing politicians. We want it to be people that's truly made a difference and stuff, and not turn into a political deal. In my opinion, that's where I'm
In
at.
my opinion too, because there's a lot of people that do things for the community that don't care anything about being political.
Right. And that's what I'm,
Or being recognized
that's
for
what
that.
we like, that recognized.
Okay.
Well, that's
So-
the number two.
Yeah. So what happened is, Frank and the staff put together a nomination form, and it's, this is the form that you're wanting to accept, Scott? Scott?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there any other discussion?
So do we need to modify number two to also read like somebody who's running for a position, or you guys just good with it like it?
I'm good with it, how it is.
Yeah.
We can kind of control that on our end, really, who we feel like is a better fit.
All right. Any further discussion?
So we're gonna compete with the Star Awards from the King School District, and whatever they do in Medora, and whatever the Masonic Lodge does.
Well, we're not going to be
They'll
competing with
check
them.
commerce.
They'll be competing with us.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're not going to compete with them. We're going to join them in recognizing people in the community. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. 7 and opposed? Okay, we have 7 in favor and 1 opposed, and the measure passes. And the next item is to announcements. Are there any announcements? Okay. Then we will move on to recess to executive session to discuss real property matters pursuant to section 551.072 Texas Government Code, pending or contemplated litigation pursuant to section 551.071 Texas Government Code, matters in which the duty of the attorney to the district under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with Chapter 551 Texas Government Code pursuant to Section 551.071 Texas Government Code and economic development negotiations pursuant to Section 551.087 Texas Government Code, and we are in recess at 6:53. Okay, we are back, and it is 7:54. The next item on our agenda is to consider status of modifications to development agreement and status of preparation of second amended and restated economic development agreement by and among City Valley Ranch Limited, Valley Ranch Town Center Limited, East Montgomery County Improvement District Economic Development Zone 1, and the district, and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith.
So we're still, we're real close, been meeting with him this week, and there's just like a couple of points on the document that we're trying to work through. Again, it's not like we have opposing positions, it's more how to say things in the best way that, makes complicated issues sufficiently easy to understand so that in the future, when we go back and look at these documents, we'll know what everybody had in mind. So it's that, and then you just provide all the exhibits, the attachments that go with it, the number runs and so forth. And so I really think we should be ready by the September meeting, August meeting.
Okay, so we'll defer that to the August meeting. Thank you. The next item is to consider status of the development of the district's 12.85 acre site, including the construction of improvements and the leasing of space in the district's office building and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith, including the status of condemnation by TxDOT relative to Grand Parkway.
So just to kind of give you a quick update in regards to the construction going on around the building. You notice they've cross-cut the parking lot for the utilities to go across, and they've been working with us on trafficability, getting in and out, putting in some crossing places where they cross-cut, and they'll continue to work with us on those utilities. We're in the process of securing some temporary facilities to move everything out of the garage, to get some temporary facilities in place to accommodate all that. And then another thing you'll see in the next, probably the next 30, 60 days is moving the well site. The well's going to need to be moved out of the TxDOT right away, and then it'll be moved over here closer to where the building is. So just so you see some of that stuff going on, you can be aware of what's going on there. So we're just trying to make that transition and make it as smooth as possible.
Thank you. The next item is to consider a report on activities within the industrial park and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith, including the status of sale of dirt on a future detention pond, including the status of contract with TDG for excavation and delivery of dirt, status of contract with Quad Vest Construction for construction of roads to serve Section 3, approval of plans and specifications, and authorize advertisement for bids relative to construction of roads to serve Section 4, status of plat of Sections 3 and 4, status of contract with Quadvest Construction for construction of wastewater lift station, and status of contract with Quadvest for water distribution and wastewater collection facilities to serve Industrial Park Section 3. Hello, Joe.
I'm gonna take A through F,
Yes.
all in one. As you, this is the layout of the industrial park as it's going to occur. And if you recall, right at the junction, this area right here, there was an 8.8 acre piece of land that needed to be required for the road to go through. And by acquiring that 0.8 acre piece of land, you save a lot of money not having to pipe big stormwater pipe. That the contract's been signed. They're now the contract. The closing date, the flies jump up in the towers and stuff will be the 15th.
The 15th of this month?
15th of
Next week?
July. We talked to, which doesn't appear on here because it's not your contract, it's the ditch contractor, Rebel Construction. He has to put his stuff in, so Quadvest, the utility contractor, can come behind him because there's got to be so much freeze on the ground. And they're all set. Rebel's addition to get going. Quadvest will talk to them, they're fine, holding the contract. So, you know, your costs are holding. You have a heavy contractor and suppliers come to them and want to raise prices, so everything's fine. The number 8, I kind of skipped over 8. The silver dirt, I talked to this guy is
Capital Street.
Capital Street. He does the cabinets and building big warehouses. He's got to raise the site up like food, but he's pretty about dirt from you because it's been raining so much, and because I think he may use Rebel to transport the dirt and pack it for him. He wanted to wait till he got going out there, but he's still on board. Talked to him last week, so everything is still on for that. So everything else is, it's just, let's rely on that 0.8 acre, so everybody's in place ready to go.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Joe?
Hey, Joe. Excuse me. The electrical, the power line, is that all going overhead? Does that go under your front? The utility, the power lines going to
To the businesses,
yeah.
it'll be set up the same way, you know, that's energy, and we send them plans, but it'll be probably the same as in the other section.
Overhead, then down
It'll be 3 bays.
460.
Yeah, section 3 bays.
Anybody else? Thank you, Joe.
Okay, hopefully not next month, we'll have guys out there digging.
Thank you.
Burning some fish.
Okay, and there's no, we're going to, nothing for schedule items G through J, so we're going to go on to item number 10, which is to consider status of preparation of demographic study by LDP on placement of splash pad park within the district and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith.
Just to give you an update in regards to that, visited with her this week. She will have everything finished next week. She just missed our board meeting by a week. So everything will be done next week, and it'll be ready for you to present at the board meeting in August. So we'll be here for you in August.
The next item is to consider approval of incentive agreement with Royal Purple and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith.
So this is, once again, many of us are familiar with Royal Purple in our community in regards to the job opportunities they provided and continue to expand. And in this process, they're looking at adding an additional 100,000 square feet facility to their site, and with it, providing some more job opportunities for residents in the area. With our agreement, we're proposing that we provide $70,000 in incentive funds for them to accomplish that, and hire 20 individuals, with 10 of those coming from our area, and give them the opportunity to expand in the future. And with that, contributing $20,000 back to our scholarship foundation, $5,000 a year for over a 4-year period.
I'll make a motion when we leave that consent.
Okay, so we have a motion by Director Carlisle and a second by Director Martin. Is there any discussion?
Frank, the 100,000 square foot will be built on their facilities at their place and not the industrial park.
That is correct. They already own the property at their facility where they want to construct that, and they already have some plans and designs where they want to put the building.
Any other discussion? All in favor of approving the motion? Unanimous, thank you very much. The next item is to consider status of incentive agreement with Saints and Sinners Brewing Company and the taking of any action required in connection therewith.
And they're currently moving forward with kind of demolition and revitalizing the building that they purchased. And once again, they should schedule-wise be up and running the next couple of months, and then have the first product available around the month of October. So they're doing well with their project, and have visited with them several times. And they would encourage you guys to come out anytime, just take a look and see what they're doing. They're very open to talking to anyone, and want to become an active member in our community, and are doing some good things. So.
Okay, great, thank you. The next item to consider status of the incentive agreement with Splendora 2090 Property, LLC, or its assignees, and the taking of any action required in connection therewith.
And this is the new station up in the Splendora area. They've gone through the process of cleaning the site off, looking at their utility needs and usage, and you should see some actual vertical structures probably in the next month and a half.
They got a lot of equipment on the ground right now.
Is that where that house is on the corner? They can tear that down, or? No, it's gone already?
Yeah.
Out to the old end of the new?
Okay, the next item is to consider status of incentive agreement with Porter Quick Car Wash LLC, or Porter Quick Car LLC, or its assignees, and the taking of any actions required in connection therewith.
And the agreements that we entered into last month for their expansion, there's your pictures, kind of just give you a reference of where they're located up on the screen. Big red arrow, but in any event, you can kind of see, give you an eye level as well. And then that's their current lube center. And then the yellow canopies in the back is the area where they're looking at expanding the car wash. So it will expand to the left and incorporate expansion on their site. And our agreement with them was to provide some financing from the Economic Development Corporation, a grant from the Improvement District, and then the contribution back in our scholarship foundation. They've agreed to those terms, and now David is just drawing up the contract and is getting that to them for them to execute. We should close probably within 30 days.
Okay. And there's no action on item number 16 that will be deferred. So the next item is number 17, to consider matters for possible placement on future agendas. And I think we discussed we want to put on the agenda for next month for the grant, procedure for the grants.
Yes, yeah, we want to talk about modification in regards to the procedure for grants coming to you all as a board. If you want to make some of those changes, we'll stick that on the agenda for next month to look at. And then one other thing that I mentioned to some of you in the meeting today is a insurance policy that allows someone that's stolen information from the district from a nature of personal information. We do a lot of scholarships to students, and we have some liability exposure there in the event someone were to access that list and use it inappropriately. There could be some litigious actions there, so we want to make sure we've got a policy in place to protect the district, and we've got a quote for that, and we'll have that on the agenda for y'all to look at next month.
Okay. Any other items to be placed on the future agendas? Okay, then we will adjourn at 8:06. Thank you all for coming out. Be careful.